Hello everyone, I'm Brian Filson, and here it is January in Minnesota. What do you do for fun in Minnesota? Well, there's a couple of things. There's a polka song, one thing that you do, but we want to talk ice fishing a little bit. And joining us, media specialist, regional headquarters in New Ulm. What is it? Is it New Ulm region, or is that what it is? Or
the South region of
South
the DNR.
region, but New Ulm, because the headquarters is here, right?
The headquarters is in New Ulm, yes, but it's a 32-county area.
Dan Ryder joins us right now. And Dan, just a couple of questions. Here we are in January. Okay, ice fishing, how big is it in Minnesota?
Oh, it's very big, and it's only gotten bigger. You know, I was telling Tom earlier that I remember growing up, drill a hole in the ice and you sit on the bucket, you know, and after 2 hours you got cold and that was it. But now we've got wheelhouses, we've got very nicely heated ice shacks, so it has become more and more popular all the time. And it's really kind of changed how we fish here in Minnesota too, because it's changed fishing pressure and you know, angling pressure, because people are spending entire weekends out on the ice these days.
That's a good point. I suppose now, okay, so more people fish in the winter or summer?
You know, I don't have those statistics, and I don't think that's something that the DNR necessarily is able to keep track of.
Okay.
Because, you know, you've got a year-round license, so it's good for all year, but, you know, certainly the number of, ice shelter licenses is only increased in the last decade.
Things we need to remember when we're heading out to do a little ice fishing this winter.
Well, number one, I want to keep everybody safe. So our guidelines, 4 inches of new clear ice at minimum to venture out by foot. We should have that easily by now, but you know, those mid-December rains and then the snow on top of it acted as a thermal layer, so that probably is going to depress those numbers just a little bit. The other thing is, you don't know what's going on under the ice as well. So there could be a school of fish, there could be a current that might be wearing that ice a little bit thin. So you're going to want to, every 150 feet, have drill a hole and measure it. So you can just use a cordless drill and a 3/4 inch auger bit, and every 150 feet measure to make sure that you're doing okay. The other thing that you're going to want to keep in mind too is, don't treat the ice like a parking lot. And here's what I mean. If you see a couple of trucks and a wheelhouse all in one area, don't park in that area. You know, you're going to want to get a ways away, because too much weight on one area of ice, bad things can happen. Rule of thumb, if you drill a hole and you've got water coming up through the hole, you've got too much weight in that one area. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. So other guidelines, so you're going to want about a foot before you put your car out on the ice. Mm-hmm. And really, if you're going to have a heavy duty truck with a wheelhouse or a portable ice shack, or a non-portable ice shack, I should say, like a wheelhouse, you're really going to want more than 20 inches of ice.
Some rules to keep in mind. Okay, and if we're going to do some ice fishing with Dan, for example, you or Scott with the DNR, what type of snacks do we have to have in our fish house?
Well, I recommend jerky.
Okay.
And some cheese, and maybe some tortilla chips.
Okay, good things to remember. How about the fishing? How's it going to be? What do you think?
Well, I think, you know, every year is different, of course, and every lake is going to have its challenges, but also its benefits. So it's going to vary widely. But you know what? Here's a little tip. You might want to call your area fisheries office. There might be some particular lakes they actually want you to fish them clean. You know, so if we're talking about Brown County, that's going to be the Hutchinson Area Fisheries Office. Give them a call and find out, like, hey, what would be the best place for us to go angling? Because we have what are called walleye rearing ponds, where some of our, you know, where our hatchery takes some of the young walleye, and they're raised, and then they're netted out to be stocked somewhere else. Well, it's impossible to get all of those fish. So if we want to continue to do that, we need to be able to start with a blank slate with no predator fish in there to eat the little fish. So there are those fishing opportunities. So you know, that's just one way to figure it out. But also, if you go to the webpage mndnr.gov/lakefinder, that will tell you recent lake surveys and management plans and what species are in a particular lake.
Great advice. Enjoy the ice fishing. Again, joining us from the DNR Media Specialist, Dan Ryder. I'm Brian Filzen.